Well, I'm on my way to Ontario, Canada. I'm going to race ready for landing tonight. As I told you guys, a busy day today. We had our training day now. The weather was beautiful. Man, it felt nice to train on a nice day. I know we did last week once or twice, but a couple of rainy days or cold days really sucks the life out of you when you have to go on the track, especially when you're not expecting it to be. Last night I drove in my, spring and fall suit and spring and fall gloves and then earmuffs on. It was just a cold night. Woke up this morning. It was good, a little chilly, but weather was nice. A little surprised we went on the track for the first one. The track was still chewed up a little bit. They had worked it a little bit maybe this morning, but after the races last night, you race 16 races on a cool night. If you don't really condition it perfectly after the races, what you're left with is chewed up track this morning. So we went on the track for the first set, and it did play a role in the first two sets. Down along the rail, we call it a bit of a cow path. It can get really chewed up down along the rail, so you want to stay out a bit. And I think Jason get down into it. You could see Arrowhead Hanover. I went back and watched the videos actually before I left, and you could see Arrowhead Hanover put a step in and kind of sashay sideways in the turn, and then when they come out of the turn, he squared himself up. Again, he lost him, and he was down in that deeper stuff. He thought that he just slipped and rolled off stride, and watching the replay, I have to agree with him. Otherwise, he looked like he was trotting fantastic. Dancing by myself, I did lose him down in the deeper stuff, but that wasn't just it. Dancing by myself's in a bit of a transitional phase, I guess. I saw he interferes in the same way that Gypsy Hill does, the exact same way. Left front foot touches that left shin, just below the jack area, the exact same place. So it stands to reason that we could probably remedy it a little bit by showing him the exact same way. It worked for Gypsy. Could it work for Dancing by Myself? I had a conversation with somebody the other day, and they said, when you look at a horse interfering and then you go to make those changes and the horse goes out and doesn't work well after, what goes into that? Well, the easiest thing for me is trying to recognize maybe horses that had the same type of gait in the past, and how do we remedy that? I don't have a great memory, but I remember all the gear and all the shoes that all the horses pretty much that I've ever had wore. And I think having that index to go back to and look at plays a big role. Now it's fresh in my memory right now because it's exactly how we fixed Gypsy Hill, is how we're going to get to fix Dancing by Myself. You saw it a little bit today. I had a very similar question regarding Cadeau the other day. His horse with a beautiful gait, but he's getting out of gear and he's making breaks and he's interfering. Just because he has a beautiful gait doesn't mean that he's never going to interfere. And he does. He hits, same thing, left shin a little bit. How do we get him out of that on a half-mile track training down? Well, there's a number of ways to do it. Every horse is a little bit different. We started with the front end of Cadeau. We took all the weight off of him and added the hobbles just to help because we took all the weight off of him. Now, after watching the video and talking to Joey, I think we'll stay the course for a week and just let him settle into those shoes. And then if we have to make changes behind, then we will. So a little bit different scenario. We've already made some changes with Dancing by Myself. And this isn't major, but you will see it clean his gait up as he goes along. Right? And that's the thing, is that in places, in the turns, coming out of the turns, you see him look out of gear and rough, because he is. He's either interfering or he's trying his hardest not to. And that's part of the process. And everybody thinks it's just a magic way that you shoe all the trotters so they don't hit. It doesn't work that way. So I had lost Dancing by Myself partially because I was down also in that cow path area where it was deep, and two, he was interfering a little bit. You could see him start to get agitated as he approached that turn before he made that break. You saw him throw his head and act up because he knows what's coming. He's going to interfere a little bit. He's going to hit himself. Might sting him. And he's getting a little frustrated with it. Same as Gypsy Hill did. Same as every other horse will. It's just a matter of minor tinkering. There's no one-size-fits-all fix for horses that interfere there. You look at their front end, how it interacts with their hind end, and then I draw on past experiences where this is the type of shoeing that helped the horse like that gait. May not be perfect, but it may fit the scenario. And I think when it comes to Dancing by Myself, it's almost a mirror image. He looks a lot like Gypsy Hill when he's going. Got that beautiful long stride up front, but as he strides out long up front, it does come back and interfere behind. So how do we fix it? I'm confident we can, no problem. I think part of the issue today with the break was the track itself, and part was interfering. They can fix the track. We can fix the interfering. So that was my break. I talked about Jason's break. Everybody else was good. Jason Merriman was very happy with Westland Warrior. Rosetta was flying on the end of it. Joe Cramp said, geez, all you got to do is get her loose, eh? Wow, can she trot? And she was flying on the end of it. Memento Mori made a break. Now, a lot went into the break today. It certainly wasn't Joey's fault. We had changed the shoes on Maury. He was interfering behind a little bit. He was getting up into his knees. And although he looked strong, I felt that, and I do feel, that will only compound, and at some point that will become a problem at top speed. So how do we nip that in the bud? I can't say that we didn't today. Yes, he made a break, but he's only had the shoes on for 24, 36 hours. And to expect him to be perfect today was hopeful. We were optimistic, but it wasn't the case. And he's had flip-flops on his whole life, so to switch him to a straight 9/16 from a 5/8 and a flip-flop is quite a transition for him. And I think that played the bigger role. Now, I'll be quite frank. When it comes to dancing by myself, we'll make the changes. Arrowhead, Hanover, I'm not too worried about. But Memento Mori, if I can get there early enough. Now, just a sidebar. Tomorrow we have to train 5 horses in the race bike that are racing next week, and I have to be out of the barn at 9:45 to get to the Meadows to go last trip with Prince Charmer. Make sure he feels right. So that's what I have to do tomorrow. In there somewhere, if I can work in a training mile with Memento Mori, I will. I want to see what he's doing myself and how we may remedy that. It may just be time. Just give the horse some time to get used to that footwear change. Maybe all it is. But I do want to have a look. Everybody else in the set was good. Westland Warrior was good. Rosetta was good. Green Glitter, my girl, got up and got the job done. Looked very good. And Jimboree was right behind them. Amy thought she was a little lethargic, but I said, Amy, I trained her in quite a bit faster than you guys went today on Monday. How did she take that mile? Did she cramp up a little bit? Was she a little tired from that mile that was just 3 days ago? Very likely. Or no, sorry. Yeah, 3 days ago on Monday. Very likely. So I wouldn't worry too much about Jimboree. She's been fantastic. So aside from mistakes by Arrowhead, Hanover, dancing by myself, and Memento Mori, the other 4 horses were fantastic. I noticed on the video that Rosetta wasn't showing, or Jimboree wasn't showing, and neither was She Sits in the Bar on the next one. So I'd asked Curtis, I don't really know what we can do now. That was on the live feed. But I can assure you the 7th horse in there with Amy on it was Jimboree. Set 2, again, we go out in the track. I'm trying to get the... I looked at Never Lose Felix, and I should have went with him. I just wanted to make sure that LT Troubadour was still continuing to move in the right direction. We had the hobbles on him 10 days ago. We took them back off him. I just want to drill down on him and really get him up into 5th gear and have him working hard. It just feels like he's locked in dawdle mode right now, where he just kind of goes about his business. He's a little flabby still, and I wanted to work him today. Now today, that might not have been a good choice by me. I should have went with Never Lose Felix. I watched Jason score him down. I said to him, geez, those hobbles look a little bit long for Felix. He goes, he felt great scoring down. I said, well, we'll just leave him as is then and see how he goes. And he did exactly what he defaulted to in the past, when he really wasn't, as I say, just screwed down tight, when he didn't have the hobbles on good, when he wasn't on his toes. He's made mistakes. He's prone to making mistakes, and he will be until probably we get him to the qualifiers, I would imagine. I looked at the replay. It didn't appear to be any reason that he should have made a break. Was he in the deep stuff and hit himself? Probably, I would imagine. But that's on me. I should have went with him. Jason's used to LT Troubadour. He could have easily went with him. I chose to go with him today. And I didn't love the way he finished up, but he started... and I kind of got a little... I told everybody after the second set, no more starting in single file. I want everybody in a group. If you look where LT Troubadour and She Sits in the Bar was to start the second set, we were 16 lengths off the priest who was on the front starting the mile. You just can't have that. Now you're a good 3 seconds behind everybody else starting. So if the priest goes in 18, I just went in 14. That's exactly what happened. So the priest looked great. as I said to Joey, you gotta make a concerted effort. What a lady, what a night. I know you were trying to protect her going in the first turn, and that's your job. Get her up closer in the straightaway so we're not far behind starting out. So let me see how the rest of them went. She sits in the bar. Amy knew her hobbles were long. Again, I'll take the blame. I stole She Sits in the Bar's hobbles to put on Flash Fly at the Meadows the other day. You know, we have other hobbles in the room. I said, well, if we're not sharing, these are the hobbles I trained Flash Fly in. These are coming with me to the Meadows. You go put another set of hobbles on She Sits at the Bar. Now, if I'd have went with her when I went on the track, I would have saw they were loose. I would have pulled them up. But Amy's, you know, I can do that, but not many others can that go with us. Nor do I want them to try. You know, that strap can come loose and fall down, and then you can have the horse get spooked and run off. There's a lot of things reasons not to do that. And when Amy we're starting her mile, she goes, these hobbles are way too loose. I look over, I said, yep, yeah, they are. Now, Joey has his way back. Amy and I are down along the rail in the deep stuff. Now they're just coming on the track with the tractor. And as she got doubled up in the first turn, she rolled off stride. Amy was mad. Mad. And I don't blame her. You know, this is one of her better fillies. She rolled off again. Another horse. If I have the time tomorrow morning, I will go a mile while She Sits in the Bar. She will be the first one I try to work into my schedule. If I can get up, now, I'll be completely frank with everybody. I just spent the entire morning training the babies and running that entire orchestra. This morning, got in the car, I'm driving to Ontario. I'm going to race at 8:23 tonight if they go off at post. I'm going to get off the track at 8:30, 8:40, and I'm going to drive straight back to Macedonia. That's around a 1 o'clock estimated time of arrival in Macedonia. Get what I can for sleep, get up, and try to get to the barn because I know we're on a tight schedule to get everybody trained tomorrow morning. If I can find the time to work She Sits in the Bar into that schedule and Memento Mori, I will. That will be my plan before I head out tomorrow morning. We'll see how that plays out. So She Sits at the Bar. The hobbles were long. She was down in the deep stuff, and she rolled off stride when she got up on top of Joey. Any one of those three things could have caused it, and any one of those three things would have been more than enough reason. But we'll get a good training mile into her tomorrow. That's my plan anyway. Very impressed with Oh Hill No. Man, she looked awesome today. I had to go back and watch the replay. Leggy knuckled over and bruised her left hind the other day. And when she came on the track, she didn't look super comfortable, but in the mile she was great. I'll tell you what, Joe Cramp, I was joking with him before. I said, I don't know if you got it in you. I don't know if you can keep her trotting the whole way. And he did. He did a hell of a job. Leggy looked very good. What a lady, what a night. Finished up behind us again with Joey. The Priest looked very comfortable on the front end and very good. I was third, I believe. Leggy was fourth. Oh Hill No was beat ahead. She looked great. Felix She Sits at the Bar had made a break, and Oh Hill No did not. What a Lady, What a Night did not finish fifth. So we had two breakers in there. Felix, I can almost assure you, had the same issues that She Sits at the Bar had. I should have gone with Felix Day. That was my fault. He's been training good. I wouldn't really call it a step backwards for him. Maybe a step sideways. We'll get him back on the beaten path this week, but he did make a break today. Third set was a rather impressive set. I was laser focused on high hopes in the mile, and Amy's coming off a break with her filly that she loves, so she's on edge. She thought Jim Bree was a little flat, maybe a little angry at me. So I told her I said, hey, with Freedom Hill, don't be first over in the last turn. You know, she looks at stuff and dawdles. And other than that, you should be fine. She wasn't playing around today. She quarter pulled her, cleared to the front in front of the grandstand. And I had to go back and watch the video because, again, I was focused on high hopes, who went very well, by the way. But Freedom Hill, it looked to me like she toyed with them. I Don't Play Nice rolled up alongside her down the backstretch. And then Freedom Hill literally looked like she toyed with them down the lane. I Don't Play Nice was coming to her and looked very good also. Horse that I thought was extremely impressive in there was Aunt Lily, and Jason did a great job with her. She looked very good. I told him, I said, these Uncle Peters, they love the work. You know, you gotta. It's tough. They're not as durable as the What the Hills, in my opinion. Their knees do get hurting them. They will get out of gear. They got a little nasty streak in them. But if you can put the appropriate amount of work into them, man, they clean up nice. And Aunt Lily was closing in on them at the wire. I had finished up strong. I was very happy with High Hopes. Yes, she lost some ground in the turns. We've been working with her. Took the knee boots off her, put bandages on her behind. And a great question from somebody the other day, why do you do that? Why wouldn't you just put boots on them? Just cover them up. If they're going to touch their hind legs, put boots on them. If they're going to touch their knees, put boots on them. It's a great question. So what happens is a lot of the times when you're trying to build the confidence of these young horses, especially on a half-mile track, they'll get to a turn, you've heard me say this before, and they'll box their gait up. They'll shorten their gait up trying to protect themselves. You got to be very careful of that, because that's when they start to get themselves in trouble. And that's a confidence thing. They'll touch a knee, they'll bounce off that knee, and usually if you have a horse run in and touch the inside knee, especially with her, with a set of bell boots on, it's usually a driver's no-no, bell boots and knee boots. But we're trying to get these guys cleaned up, tightened up for the races. So we'll add a little weight to them up front. They will wear those bell boots. Now, they'll touch that inside knee and they'll come off it. Now, that interferes their gait, right? They'll bounce off that knee a little bit. And in the next stride, you'll usually see that right front foot that just hit that left knee, find that right shin, right? Changes their gait. They come off the ground. They exit their gait. They'll interfere behind, hit their jack, hit their shin. Now, it can be a cascade. Right now, they're unsure of themselves. They're interfering. They're hitting the knee again. They're hitting the shin. That's compounding. And now their gait's really boxed up. A lot of the heavier gaited horses, you can hold them together, slow them right down and hold them together. But when you got a fluid gaited trotter that light on their feet, it's only a matter of time. That's a recipe for disaster. They're going to make it break. So what we'll do is either tape their knees up or just take their knee boots right off. Put bandages on the behind. Now, the bandages, they don't bounce off the same way they do that hard plastic. That's absorbed into that. What we have on the behind, when you see the bandages on them right now, is actually vet wrap over top of polo wraps. Now, it gives more than enough protection for a horse that's just brushing. It also lets us see where they're hitting and how hard they're hitting. Doesn't take a lot to puncture vet wrap, right? And if you compress that vet wrap, you interfere and you hit that, you're going to see that mark. Plain as day. You're going to see the horse mark up that vet wrap up and down behind, but there should be enough protection in that polo wrap and the vet wrap for the horse that is hitting a little bit. If they're mauling it, well, that's different. Now we're talking about shoeing changes and a number of things. We've been lucky we really haven't had that happen for the most part. And also, by taking those knee boots off, they might brush that knee, but they don't bounce right off it. They don't hit it, bounce right off it. Now, you got to be careful, because if they're hitting that knee hard, you're going to have a committed, you're going to have a hematoma on that knee, a swelling on that knee. Now that's a problem. So you got to be very, very careful what you're asking. I'm watching her the entire time. She did hit her knee a couple of times, and we'll tape it up. But I don't want to go to the boots only because I'm trying to alleviate the issue of confidence. And when you see the fillies or we see any of the trotters bounce off them boots and get out of gear, it's problematic. I'm going to leave her as is for now and let her pick up speed. I suspect that High Hopes will need knee boots when she races, but for right now, going the speed we're going, she does not. So we'll tape her knees up, keep that vet wrap on her behind. I saw no rubs or puncture marks in the vet wrap, so she really wasn't at herself behind. She's just learning to trot through those turns, and I think it was a very, very good mile from her today. Oh, he'll know, as I said, looked fantastic. The Priest back on track, looked good. That's sickness. There's two, Aunt Lily, the Priest, Rose Run, Alexandra, 3 horses in particular that were very sick from that virus. High temperatures, a lot of mucus, and it really knocked them for a loop. And now you're just starting to see them get their feet back under them 3 weeks later. And the Priest looked great today. Leggy, very impressed. I'm mixing 2 sets up here. Good for me. Let's jump back to the 3rd set. Freedom Hill, as I said, very strong. I Don't Play Nice was very strong. Aunt Lily was very impressive, finishing up strong on the outside. High Hopes, I had to nurse her through the turns, but man, she finished up very strong too. If you watch her last 8, it was as hard as she could lay her legs to the ground, and that's all you can ask. Grand Slam Dio, not used to getting jammed up there. That's fine. New experiences aren't going to hurt her. As Jason said, I should have removed her. I said, no, did the right thing. All these new experiences are a learning experience for these horses. And Grand Slam Dio finished up good. And again, Bluebird Tuxedo Hill might have been last, but never really got a chance to really attack the way he's been. I liked when Joey had him first over and advancing, but you can't do that every week. So an easy set from him today was good. I was really happy with the entire third set. Fourth set went out, and I know Amy's happy now. She's got Freedom Hill, though she won easily. As I said, felt very strong. It's good for the drivers too. Amy was out with a trot. Now, if you're looking at the Las Vegas odds for set number 4, a trot would have been 1-5, probably. But just got shot yesterday. I was a little worried. We all know now the track they've worked it, but not enough. It might have looked nice on top, but as soon as you start getting in there, again, you can feel the track chewed up and along the rail. And a trot has been known to make breaks in the straightaways like that. So I said to Amy, she goes, I don't go there that often anymore. I said, you got to put her on her toes, and you can't let them dawdle. Don't let the bit out of their mouth. Keep them on their toes and moving forward. Especially the ones you're not sure of are the ones that are prone to making breaks. You can't be reactionary. You have to be proactive when you're going with those trotters. I know she makes breaks in the turns, so I'm going to put her on her toes going into the turn and try and nurse her through. I know she's prone to making breaks in the straightaways. Same type of thing. Put her on her toes and have her advancing. Amy was just coasting up in behind cover, and she rolled off. Not really a good reason for a trot to do that, but I've seen her make breaks and mistakes in those areas before. I don't really care. She's one of our fastest fillies. You could hook her in the bike right now and go a mile and 2:10. Just don't have to. And mistakes that she makes in the straightaways, hopefully they're learning mistakes from her too, and she can get better from them. So she had made a break. I look back and a trot, and I think the grid horse had only made a break. He was getting frustrated as Joey was taking his time with Cadeau to clear off the lead. Ali's got grit. His default is to be a little mongrel sometimes, and he threw his head, got angry, and Jason did the right thing. Don't let him away with it. Put him in a place he doesn't like right off the bat. He's going to have to learn that he's going to be put in lots of places in racing that he might not like or he might not be okay with, but that's part of racing. So, and I know Jason kind of blamed himself afterwards. Not his fault at all. That horse is going to have to learn to be in those situations and behave himself. And today, like I said, his default, he just defaulted back into mongrel mode and made a break. But rinse and repeat. Put him right back in that spot again and do it until he understands his work. And if he doesn't want to do it the way he's asked, well, we can sprinkle in a little extra training for him if he wants to do that. But that will be up to him. I'll cut him some slack today because Cadeau was in neutral, almost clearing off the lead. But that's no excuse for the break that he made. And I know exactly why he did it. I saw him do it right in front of me. He just, as I said, went into default mode. I did not want to be anywhere near the front with Melisandre. Now, Melisandre's a little bit behind everybody. We're being super protective of this filly. Soundness-wise, happy with what I saw today. I think we're going to see Melisandre start to bloom when she gets to Lexington. Now, that sounds silly because she's a small filly. If I was forced to, I could make her train right now. If she was going to New York or she was an Ohio bred, totally different situation. She's not. Of the fillies, I think we have a couple. I think Gymboree, a Trant, and maybe, if we choose to, Grand Slam Dio will be ready for Oak Grove if that's the path we choose. But Melisandre, I kind of quietly have her lightly penciled in for a Lexington start. We x-rayed her knees, same as everybody else's knees, a little open, some remodeling there. You're going to see that. It's not the end of the world. But I saw a sound filly today. I saw a filly was looking to attack coming in a last turn. The only thing I didn't like about her was after the mile, she softens up and she'll make that break in the turn. Got to get away from that. Now, my easy answer to that is she's not going to see that turn in Lexington. That's a big, giant mile turn in Lexington. So I'm not really that worried about that. I don't like that she looks to make that break. But again, I'm going to cut her some slack. One, this is a filly that I hold in very high regard. And two, I know she's not perfect. She was very, very good today. Now, Cadeau showed how tough he was. Here's a horse never had the hobbles on until 9:30 this morning. Never felt them on his legs. We switched him from a heavier shoe to an aluminum mushroom bar up front. I think the corners of his feet bother him and pinch him. So I have opted to leave the mushroom bars on him, but we did go for a lighter shoe. We went right to an aluminum one from a steel one. Do I think this is how he's going to be shot all summer? No, but I'm looking for, I'm looking for results. I'm looking, how does he trot with this on, and am I comfortable with this? We're not done yet. I think we're going to change him back around a little bit behind and see how he trots, and eventually we'll be able to get back to a more normal trotting shoe with him as we get closer to the races. I wasn't disappointed with him. We were trotting the last 8s pretty hard, and I couldn't get near him with Melisandre. We were trotting probably, I'm going to say, a last 8th and 16 in a piece, which would be a quarter in 32, 33, which is more than enough in a jog cart for a 2-year-old trotter this time of year. I was impressed with Cadeau's durability, but it's not shocking. He's a durable, tough little bugger. You give him a reason to do his work, he's going to do it. And if you give him a reason not to, he's going to try and work through it. The breaks he's made were obvious, right? There were obvious issues. He lost a shoe, his feet were killing him, things of that nature. But today, Joey put him in a good spot to do his work, and he looked very good. So you might have saw him and said, "Oh, he's got hobbles on. He's got such a beautiful gait. He's rough in the turns." It's part of the process. Guys, and I say this all the time. You guys get to see behind the curtain, right? If you're not there and you call up a trainer and say, "Hey, how'd Cadeau do today?" Good. He won his set. He was trotting good. We're still working on his feet, working on him, but did his work well. Went a mile in 2:23. You're happy, but you got to see that he was a little rickety in the turns. Joey did a great job keeping him trotting. And on the end of the mile, when push come to shove, when he could have folded or drove away, he opted for the right path. And that's all that matters to me. So Cadeau was very good. Mountaineer Prince, Darryl said he just stroked him with the whip coming out of the turn, and he made a break. But he said he's not running in like he was last time. He's trotting good. He's straight. I was happy with him. I was very happy with Melisandre. Not disappointed with Ali's got grit. He's going to find himself in a place where he doesn't want to be, which is squarely in the principal's office here one of these days if he keeps it up. But as I said, with most of these horses, just keep putting keep spit polishing them. They'll come around, and Ali's got grit is no different. Matron just made a stupid break. And, as I said to Amy, when we're in the mile, keep them close, keep them tight, keep them on their toes. And Amy doesn't know where she's made breaks. She hasn't really gone with her for a while, so she doesn't know. That maybe in that place in the straightaway, you just got to watch her. Plus, factor in the deep track and the fact that she was shod yesterday. More than enough reasons. I'm not worried about a Tron in the least. Now, 5th set, I wanted to show off what we had done this week with Gorgeous Package. Really impressed with her. This is a filly that we worked really, really good. Monday, I trained her at 217. Made a few little changes, put a Murphy blind on her, put that martingale on her. I went out and I thought she was a little race car. Thought she was awesome. She sounds lethargic in her nose, but we've scoped her, and they said she's got a little narrow nostrils, but she does her work well, man. She was all business today. And it was unfair a little bit, right? AJ, we've been going easy with. I want to talk about him in a minute. I did train Foxy Seaside hard on Monday also, so I wanted to get feedback from Joey about her. Blue Ventura is behind these horses, right? He tied up, remember, 3 weeks ago, tied up. He was a little bit sick. So he's a good 2 weeks behind the workload that Foxy Seaside has had, or even Gorgeous Package has had. Fire and Shine, I wanted to get some feedback from her. And Dancing in My Socks, again, a little bit softer than the other horses have been. Rosa and Alexandra coming back from the virus, but had trained well. On the weekend, Jason said. So I was interested to see how she'd do. We went out of there, and Jason was coming with Blue Ventura, and I said, wow, we're going to go a mile in 15, and Blue Ventura that's going to be lots for him. He was ready to go there, but it was going to be lots where it wasn't going to be lots for a couple of the other ones. Certainly not Foxy Seaside and Gorgeous Package, from what I saw on Monday. So I just sat there. We went a half in 1:10. We started to scoot down the backstretch a bit. I saw Amy coming with Rosa and Alexander, and I knew Gorgeous Package was dialed in today. Like, dialed in. Very good. I just moved her over and sat on the outside. She understands. She's smart. She just sat beside Jason. Jason's horse was starting to soften a bit halfway around the last turn. I just let everybody kind of catch back up and get tightened up for the stretch drive. I called on Gorgeous Package, and it was game on. Nobody was getting near her today. And Rosa and AJ shot through the middle. Jason said, he's been on that right line. We thought his feet were bothering him. We put a set of window bars on him. He said he was perfect today. There you go. Now we know what is going on with Now we know what was going on with Roser and AJ. It's undeniable. He's on the right line. All we did was put a set of window bars on him. The inside corners of both his feet were hurting him, more the left than the right, but I would suspect that left was because he was taking weight when the actual culprit was probably going to be found on the right side. All we did was put the window bars on him. He straightened up, come off the line. It was all business day and much quieter. Jason said, perfect today. So that's great. Fixed. Roser and Alexandra, again, a little bit of time it took to get back on track. You know, you have horses that are working hard for the 2 weeks she couldn't. It shows up when you ask her. So I said, Amy, don't worry about Roser and Alexandra. She's going to catch back up. You don't have to worry about her. Jason said she was awesome on Saturday, exposed first over, but now you have to give that added wrinkle. If you guys are paying attention, it's qualifying day at Northfield Park. There's 10 times as many horses. I counted when we were going around the turn in set number 5, it looked like there was 12 horses lined up in a line warming. We were training. They were warming up to qualify. So now you got people at the gate, you got a tractor, you got a water truck, you have all these horses all over the track. It's a lot. And for every second those horses aren't paying attention to their mile is the second they're not getting it, right? The second they're not advancing. And I think that was the biggest thing with Roser and Alexandra. Amy said she just kind of let go of me about when we buy the draw gate. Well, there's horses coming in and out of the paddock. There's a crowd of people up there now watching the horses warm up. They just went by the tractor. There's a water truck out there. Yeah. Not to mention that she is 2 weeks of work behind these horses. So I moved over just to cover her up, and Gorgeous Package wasn't 2 weeks of work behind. She was all business day. I was thoroughly impressed. You know, you guys listened to me rave about Woodmere Betcha the other day. Well, this filly felt like a racehorse today. She felt very good. I'm not going to say, oh, she's a stake filly. She's going to be a Buckeye filly and a fair filly for sure. Is she a sire stake filly? That's a jump that I can't predict. But I can tell you one thing. She's going to be a very effective racehorse for us. I really, really like what I saw from Gorgeous Package. Roser and Alexandra and Roser and AJ were awesome today. Both of them. Foxy Seaside, Joey said, was awesome today. That was good. Blue Ventura was just soft. That's not his fault. Fire and Shine, Joe Cramp said, got up for 4th. I watched the replay. You are right, Joe. You did get up for 4th. He looked very good. Dancing in My Socks and Blue Ventura. That's a lot to ask for those guys. They're not... Neither of those horses are sire stake horses in my mind, but they both have a way forward, and they both can be effective horses, but they were a little softer than the other horses going in. Foxy Seaside was wound tight today, as was Gorgeous Package. It showed up with Gorgeous Package, and I was glad that Joey just kind of moved her in the group without getting her, doubled up, make a break, doubled up, make a break. No, he did the right thing. He moved her within the group, and I was happy to see that he did that. The last set went out. I thought the Manhattan Bunny got by me easily, but under review. It's not because I'm biased. Just watch the video. Southwind Idex fought her off. He trotted as hard as he could from the head of the lane to the wire, chewing on his right hind, down low on his ankle, and up on his left jack. We've addressed it with shoeing as best we can for now. We have covered that jack up a little more. We will work on that ankle. We'll adjust his equipment a bit. But man, I was happy with the output today from Southwind Idex. And the other horse, Manhattan Money, I feel that he could be any kind of horse moving forward. He's got the breeding, he's got the gait, he understands his work now. And all three of those combined with a good work ethic and good attitude makes for a scary horse. So who knows what kind of horse Manhattan Money can be, but he looked very good today. Southwind Idex, lazy, but I was happy, as I said, happy to see this subtle transformation in his attitude, and the output was there today. He did his work very, very well. Wander Hill, maybe shouldn't have escaped the 2-hole. I think Jason knows Southwind Idex is a little cranky sometimes and a little soft, but maybe what he didn't know is that I trained him in 16 on Monday, and he was looking for a fight today, and he found one. Wander trained great on Monday in 2:21. It's 5 seconds difference. That's 25 lengths. He was maybe looking for a fight, but maybe hooked onto the wrong dance partner in the last turn, and Southwind Idex put him away. He didn't run, as I said to Jason. Wanderhill trained great the other day. He didn't run, which is good. We can work on the stamina, we can work on the speed, but he didn't run, and that was a huge victory in that regard. He's a great guy. I'll talk about the last horse in there, also Speed of Sound. She wasn't really ready to go that speed, so the fact that she did look good, didn't put a step in, and trotted well was a huge bonus for her. So great job by everybody in that set. He's a great guy, did make a break. I guess I feel sometimes it's one step forward, two steps back with this guy, and the attitude is there and the work ethic. So I'll explain myself. With any sort of weight on up front, he gets into his elbows, which means he gets rough in the straightaways. He wasn't really a huge fan of the hobbles when I put them on him. Now we can keep them on him, and we can get him used to the hobbles, but he just wasn't really taking to them as well as I would have hoped today. So we're in limbo. We're in this massive gray area where, now again, I took the flip-flops off him yesterday and went to I guess the actual term for them is Queen's plates. They're just an aluminum plate underneath, maybe a little wider than the shoe. They just sit there for a little extra support. We opted to go to aluminums up front, which is rare for a 2-year-old trotter, but with so much gait, that is the option we had. That is where I went. I believe it was more the shoeing yesterday that caused the problem, because I didn't see any interference anywhere. Not on his knee, not on his jacks, not on his shins, not on his ankles, nowhere. So I think there just needs to be a transformation there. I can tell you I'd love to go with him tomorrow, but I don't see how I can possibly work him in tomorrow. Friday I can. No. Saturday it's going to rain. He's 8th on the list for tomorrow. Five horses to train in the race bike are number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on my list. Number 6 will be She Sits at the Bar. Number 7 will be Memento Mori, and number 8 will be He's a Great Guy if I can get there. Now, expecting him to be much better 24 hours after showing him than the day before. Like, he didn't get shot yesterday, he got shot today, this morning. So asking him to be better tomorrow would be unrealistic. So I think I would love to say we'll work him in tomorrow, but he is on spot number 8. I just think we're going to have to let him settle in. If he's not interfering with those shoes on, let's leave them as is for now and let him try and work his way into a comfort level with those shoes before we start making any more changes, just because we're going on by what we saw on a day when he was shot. It's unfair to the horse. So I think we're going to let it play out for a little bit. This guy has the will. He has the work ethic. He's got a good attitude. I'm just trying to find a way in a place where he's comfortable and he can work without needing any sort of hobbles or training wheels put on. If I have to put them back on and he has to get used to them, then so be it, he will. But I'm just going to give him a little more room, a little wider berth right now with those shoes to get him trotting. I'm not worried about him. He's going to get there, but I'm trying to set him up to be the best horse he can be right away, and it takes time. It's not a, as I said at the start, this isn't there's no one size fits all. Just put these shoes on and they'll be fine, or put those shoes on. It doesn't work that way. Every horse is different, and he's a great guy. He's definitely a unique animal. We're trying to find the right shoes for him. So I wouldn't get deterred from him. He's a nice colt. He wants to do his work. We'll be able to work with him. We just have to find the proper combination of shoes and equipment. Today was not that combination. But again, I think the biggest problem we had today, at least for that set, was the fact that he was shot this morning, and then you factor in that deep track, and that's what you get. So I wasn't disappointed with anybody today. There wasn't a horse where I could say, well, it wasn't the track, there's something wrong. No, I'll go through all the breakers with you, dancing by myself. Just need to make that second adjustment to his hind shoes in the deeper track. Did play a role. That's why you're in. Memento Mori had a shoeing change, a fairly significant shoeing change this week. Factor that in with the deep track. That's why he made a break, 100% for sure. Set 2, Never Lose Felix. Doesn't really need a reason to make a break. He's made lots. But again, longer hobbles than he probably needed today, in my estimation, in the deep track caused him to run. She Sits at the Bar 100%. Long hobbles, deep track. This isn't me just using that as an excuse. I'm telling you, that's what happened. Set number 3 went off without a hitch. No breakers in there. They went good. Set 4, a Tron. Just need to put her on her toes and get her working. And Mountaineer Prince, he just said he startled him. Allie's got grit. That's just him being rude. He'll get through that. 5th set was great. Very, very impressed. I guess the gold star for the day, biggest mover for sure, was Gorgeous Package. She looked like a real contender this year today, and I was thoroughly impressed with with the way the most impressive way. She just felt so professional today going about her work, factoring in the tote boards on, the qualifiers, everybody's warming up for their work. I guess the tote board's always on. But she had more than enough reasons to look around, and she understood what today was all about, did her work very well. The execution was perfect for her today. And then the sixth set, he's a great guy, I'm going to give him a pass. He had a shot today, it's not his fault. We'll continue to work with him. Everybody else I believe in there looked absolutely great. So pretty good day, top to bottom. All the horses are progressing and looked very good. I was happy with the ones that I sat behind and the ones that I saw. And as I said, we'll erase the break today from she sits in the bar tomorrow. I'll fix that. Memento Mori tomorrow. I'll fix that. And the rest of them will be all cleaned up. Tomorrow, 8:15, you get to see the Ontario horses go. There'll be 8 horses going out postward, so to speak. I'm eager to see them, same as you. I'll be watching them from Ohio as I'll be going back. Now, I am going to Ontario tonight. It's a lot of driving, a lot of work, but you know what? Hopefully it's all worth it in the end. You just got to get everybody moving. My job is to polish up all the rough spots, and I'm going to do that tonight, hopefully. So, with that, I'll let you go. 41 minutes, a deep dive into what did and did not take place today. You guys are all up to date with my thoughts on everybody. And also worth noting, if you were paying close attention, there was a guest appearance in the 6th set. That horse going around with us in the slow lap, that was Captain Incredible. He's back good. He's back, and he looks very, very good. Very happy with what I've seen from him. A great job by Scott McEnany. High praise from him and Ron Burke about the colt. So hopefully we're on the right path with him as well. So take care. Good luck to everybody tonight. I will talk to you all very soon.